Welcome to the Comeback Blueprint podcast, hosted by Michael Sawan. This is the show about rebuilding after setbacks, burnouts, and life-changing moments. Real stories, real struggles, real comebacks. If you're in a season of change, you're in the right place. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Comeback Blueprint podcast. Today's guest is Keri Edwards, a fitness enthusiast and bodybuilder who is passionate about becoming the best version of herself time and time again through fitness, personal growth, and a commitment to both mental and physical well-being. Now, Keri believes, and I have to agree, sort of being almost 40 myself, that her mid-40s are her strongest years yet, and I'm going to find out why. So, Keri, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
An absolute pleasure. So, you're joining me from Florida.
Yes.
And I know Florida a little bit. I was in Miami for a while there. I think I prefer Miami to Los Angeles. That's just my preference as a traveler. Maybe it's I find the water cleaner. I don't know what it is. I hope I don't get chastised for that. But in the endeavor to find out a bit about yourself, you've come from New Jersey. You've mentioned why the move to Florida. What was the change there?
Well, actually, I went through a divorce. I moved here the end of October, so I'm pretty new to Florida, but so far it's been pretty amazing. I love it here. So
yeah,
I'm happy.
Does it fit in well with your lifestyle habits, being in fitness and that sense?
Yes.
Do they encourage it here? Yeah.
I do feel like there's a lot more people who have the same mindset as me as far as like fitness and health. And it does help that like I'm 10 minutes from the beach and I'm fit and in shape. So I get to, sport the bikini and go to the beach like every weekend if I want to, which is always nice. So
yeah, always nice. Always
Yeah.
nice. In my youth, in my young days, when I was living in America for a short time, as I mentioned to you just offline, I did prefer the Miami beach to LA. I felt there was both beaches have a sense of confidence, but I felt Miami's got sort of that, because I actually also traveled to Jamaica and a bit of the Caribbean. It's got that influence, that island influence. It's a bit different. Yes,
Yes,
you
the
gotta love
water's
that.
just beautiful here. So
Yes, yeah.
I love that too.
Beautiful. So before we dive into bodybuilding and fitness, which is really the MO here and why I wanted to get you on, just give us a little bit about Keri Edwards and who she is on the day-to-day.
Okay. Well, do you want to know what got me into bodybuilding or?
I'd love to know the origin
Okay.
story.
Well, I've always been an athlete my whole life. I've always been into fitness. I've always been very competitive. I did track and field when I was in high school and in college. So from there, I kind of still wanted to stay fit. And I also needed that competitive edge to whatever I was doing when I got out of school. So I was a runner, so I got into races. I do the 5Ks, 10Ks, and then I did a couple half marathons, and I finally did a full marathon, and that was enough for me after that. And I also wanted to change my body. I felt like I was in shape, but I didn't have any muscle or any build to me, because running really doesn't do that for you. I was always kind of scared to lift weights and stuff at the gym. It kind of intimidated me, the whole weightlifting section. So I decided to try CrossFit because it had a good social atmosphere to it. Everybody's really supportive. And it taught me how to do Olympic lifts and stuff like that. And it was competitive because you could do competitions, which I did a few. I did
And
CrossFit.
if I'm not mistaken, a lot of CrossFit is to do also with using your own body as the weight. That kind of
there's a lot of body weight workouts as well.
Yeah.
It's mostly they focus on moving as fast as you can and lifting as heavy as you can, which isn't necessarily, in my opinion now, after learning about lifting, the smartest thing. But it was fun and I made a lot of friends. I did it for 6 years. And then I decided, again, I was having a lot of issues with my joints, like my elbows and my knees, because it's really hard on your body doing that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I'm in my 40s now, so I felt like, I think I need to try something else. And I also didn't really love the way it was making my body look. I think you get kind of like that bulky, square shape to you from doing all the Olympic lifting. So I decided to give bodybuilding a try. A lot of people told me they thought I had the physique that could do well at it. So um, I got into it. And I also wanted to cut back and not drink. I
Hmm?
decided to cut out drinking. So it was like an easy way to
Good reason.
motivate myself to not
Yeah.
drink too. So I was planning on only doing one show. But after I did the one show, I got hooked. And I've been doing it. This is my 4th year now. So here we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'd love to dive into your shows as we go along, but there's a lot to unpack here. So if someone met you 10, 15 years ago, and I don't want to imply anything, so I'm just going to ask, how different would they have found you to meeting Keri today? What would be the stark contrasts? And I'm not even talking from the physical sense, just Keri as a
Yeah.
mindset. Yeah.
My self-esteem was pretty low, I would say 10 to 15 years ago. And like going back again to the alcohol, I used to drink a lot to just be more confident and feel good about myself. So it
Was there
was
some
kind of like,
social influence there, or was it
yeah,
something?
it
Yeah.
was definitely, yeah, it was kind of like a social crutch for me.
Mm.
So I think getting into bodybuilding, it really gave me a sense of confidence that I didn't know I had. Just because I was able to do it, it gives you confidence. Being able to grind like day in and day out when you're exhausted, to stick to the meal plan, to see your body change. It just kind of really builds the confidence you have in yourself and seeing the ability of what you can do. It just makes you feel, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, but
it's a
yeah.
feeling that's different to what it was a decade ago,
Yes,
and
and
you
it
know
also,
there's a difference.
yeah, it really kind of just changed me. So
Yeah. Yeah, and did it change the environment around you? So did it attract a different circle of friends and different network? Like, did you find that previous connections were being filtered out as part of this change?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Because my mindset and the things that were important to me changed quite a bit. So the friend dynamic changed a little bit as well. But I think it all was for the better.
Yeah.
In the
What were
long
you
run.
doing? What were you doing on the day to day? What's sort of your day job? And what were
I
you-
work from home, so
Yep.
that also makes it really easy for me. Well, not easy, but a lot easier to compete because I can cook my food here at home. I don't have to like pack meals and everything. I give women a lot of credit who have kids and they have to travel to work. I don't know how they do it. I have it pretty easy here, so.
Yeah, just interviewed quite a bit myself on this podcast and finding that quite common. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. What are those conversations like? Because you're both coming from different backgrounds. I know that I've been told by competitors that when you're in that change room, no one's competing with each other. It's really just competing with yourself. I think that's very refreshing to hear.
Really important. I mean, I've made a lot of good friends who are competitors. I think a lot of them have gone through ups and downs in life and gone through transitions. And I think bodybuilding has been kind of like a safe space for them. And like me, it makes them feel good about themselves. It's built their confidence. It's made them look better and feel better mentally. And like we all can just relate on how it's improved our lives, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of downsides to it too as well, because bodybuilding isn't always the healthiest thing, but it teaches you a lot about yourself. You go into calorie deficits, you push your body to the max, especially towards the end of prep. You're low body fat, your energy's low, stuff like that. Like it's not exactly healthy by any means when you're in prep mode, but it taught me so much. Go ahead.
Do you have to change sort of your dynamic in terms of who you interact with and what you do day to day as you get closer to comp, because your mood's now affected by this calorie deficit? Like, do you feel like I've got to speak less to people just to get there, or how do you approach the days leading up to
maybe in the
comp?
beginning when I first started, it was harder and I had to do that. Now I've been doing this so long that I'm not really affected by what other people choose to do. I can hang out with people who aren't in prep or want to eat this or drink that. It doesn't really affect me because I know what I want to do. But in the beginning, it definitely was challenging. You just kind of get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's the culture? Because you've only just recently moved to Florida and we had a chat just offline. But what's the culture like in New Jersey where you originally came from when it comes to fitness? I was in America like circa 2011 and 12. That was 10 or 15 years ago myself.
Yeah.
None of the social networks I had at the time were interested in fitness, but I don't know if that's just that's a cultural shift now in New Jersey. What was that like?
It probably depends on where exactly you live.
Mm.
When I got into competing, I was out in the country, like in the middle of nowhere. The gym I went to, I think I was the only competitor there. So I really felt isolated and on my own. I also was going through marital problems and a divorce. So I kind of
Mm.
leaned a lot on my competing to just kind of keep me going and distracted from all that stuff. But it was
Bit
very
of an
lonely.
outlet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it can be a very lonely sport if you don't have other people who are around you who do the same thing, for sure. But it got me through some hard times. So
Yeah,
I'm thankful for
absolutely.
that, at least.
Yeah, it can be a very lonely sport. I do remember
Yes.
when I was, a regular gym attendee, a goer. If I didn't have that personal trainer to just message me and say, "Where are you? Get your butt here," and everything, you could get slack after a few weeks. So it's
Oh,
nice to have.
yeah.
Yeah, you need people to keep you accountable.
It's all mental. I mean,
Yeah.
bodybuilding is completely all mental, whether it's the working out or the diet. Like, you have to fight those feelings of being too tired and hungry, and you just have to keep grinding.
Yeah. And so for you, this wasn't always part of your MO. This was a new thing for you, fitness. So how did you sort of embrace when it became more than just exercise? It started to become a lifestyle. How did you go, oh, like I'm going to take this on and start competing and go to the next level?
I think because I realized I had the ability to be very good at it. I mean, I took fifth my first national show and got first call outs. And I placed in first call outs every year since. Last year, super frustrating, but I did 3 national shows and I took second 4 times. So I'm really
Wow.
hoping this will be my year. Let's pray that hopefully I can get my pro card. But
Yeah. Oh, look, from
I
the
just,
inside, I can absolutely appreciate being second
yeah,
4 times. You're like, come on.
it definitely hurt a bit, but
Yeah. Do
at
you
least.
do you know how to assess what it was that needed you to get to the
Yeah, I
winning
mean,
podium?
you get judges' feedback at the end. I think a
Mm.
lot of it has to do with my stage presence. I do tend to get nervous up there. Posing is always a challenge for me.
Yeah.
Um, that's one of my, that's what I struggle with, I would say, the most.
Yeah.
And it's always glute density, they tell me, but I feel like every girl, the judges tell you need more glutes when it comes to bikini. It's part of it. But yeah, so that's what
So
we've been working on.
so is that the category you're going into? Is
Yes,
bikini?
I'm in
Yep.
bikini.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Our listeners should just be brought to their attention on a lighter note. As people know, I like to crack a joke once in a while. I'm sorry, but if you go to Keri's Instagram, there's nothing that tells me she's got any nervousness or hesitance when it comes to posing.
I'm
So,
good at faking it.
so at the end of the day, you're your own worst critic because I think you're fantastic. But again, this is my
Oh,
opinion.
thank you so much. I'm
And
trying.
I might actually have to get you to get up and do a pose at some point just to prove me wrong. Otherwise,
Uh,
but that said, I was very just curious to sort of understand the mindset because I do have a lot of conversations with people in fitness, as you would have seen, and I like to know like what was it like when you finally said, okay, this is my life now. Whereas like for me, my relationship with the gym, and this is my one example. It's just, yeah, if I've got time for you, yes, if I can fit you in. I've never gotten to a
right.
point where it's like I can make it my lifestyle. What message do you give to people who are in that sort of precipice where they're like, I want it to be part of my lifestyle, but it's like I just can't make it anything more than just when I have time? Like, how do you sort
You
of
just
coach that?
you don't make it an option to say no. That's just
Mm,
how I am every day. Like, I assess what I have going on that day and I figure it out. If I can't get to the gym in the morning, I'm going to go at night. If I don't have time to cook my meals in the morning, I'll stay up late and do it. Like, I just make sure I make time to get it done. You just can't make excuses. If you're
mm,
going to do competing and bodybuilding, that's the type of people who do this sport. They get it done. They
yeah.
don't make an excuse ever.
They don't make an
So,
excuse at all.
no.
And no. What were, in your early stages, what were some of the encouraging signs that you noticed, like in terms of your changes to go, I can keep doing this. Like, this is actually what I'm looking to do.
Well, at least with the gym, I mean, the gym is my happy place. It, if I don't go, I'm just not in the right frame of mind that day. Like it helps my mental state, it helps everything. So
Yeah.
it's just part of my life. Whether I want to go or not, I know I'm going to feel better afterwards. So I just make myself do it.
Yeah.
Um, the
And that's
diet
even
is
when you
always,
weren't finding results early on, you were just like, I've just got to keep going. Like,
yeah, because I mean, well, yeah, once after like the first season, you kind of learn your body and you know what the process is.
mm,
So, because in the off season is probably the hardest part, especially I think for women, because we see ourselves get super lean for show. And then once you go back into a reverse and start eating more food and you see your body put weight back on, you automatically feel like you're heavy or out of shape, but it's that body dysmorphia that we
yeah.
all seem to get. But I've definitely struggled with that. I don't know any woman who competes who hasn't, but I've learned to kind of love my body in every size now and understand the process. Whereas in the beginning, it was way more challenging, but I think I've gotten a lot better at being confident at wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
Because
You
my
said
weight
it.
does fluctuate 20 pounds or so, and that's kind of hard to handle.
Yeah. So 20 pounds, I think in Australian conversion is 10 kilos. So yeah, I can appreciate that's quite a
Yeah.
noticeable change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of 20, reflecting, obviously you're 40 years young. I'd say you're much younger, but that's just my personal opinion. But what would you say to people who are trying to start out in their 20s? Like, I was having, because obviously your 20-year-old Keri is different to, 40 plus year old Keri. What would you have said to
Right.
her then that she could embrace differently?
I guess, I don't know. I feel like it's different when you're in your 20s. You can get away with so much more. Now that
Oh,
I'm
your
in my
metabolism is
40s,
having a good time. It's not even an issue. You can eat whatever you
yeah,
want. Yeah.
yeah. But I feel like what happens, at least to women in their 40s, that I notice is they just think they give up and make it your age an excuse. A lot of women have children, they let their bodies go, and they're like, well, I'm already past my prime. It's my
Mm,
hormones. I'm too old. I can't lift anymore. And it's so not true. I mean, I look better now than I did when I was in my 20s. You just have
yeah.
to be disciplined and consistent. You have to want to do it, and you have to accept that it's not going to happen overnight. It's a long process. Like to
Yeah.
build a physique and to get in shape, it takes time. And I think a lot of people who want to get in shape, they want like that quick fix. So they don't understand that it's really a process and it's a lifestyle change. You can't just do like 1 month program and keep it. You have to keep doing it to
Yeah.
maintain it. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Absolutely.
people don't want to accept that.
No, and look, I'll be guilty of that too. I remember when I was training, I was 20 years old. I wanted to look really good for my 21st birthday, and I think I lost something like probably about 21, 22 kilos. I think I was down to about 14, 15% body fat.
Yeah.
Not for competing, just wanted to look good on my 21st birthday, so I had a nice
Yeah.
photo. Um, and that was probably about a 6 or 7, I'll say about a 7-month journey. And then, yes, I kept going to the gym a few months after that. And then into the new year, I kind of just, I didn't know how to set a new goal. So I didn't know how to make it part of my everyday. It was just like, and then
Mhm.
I'd put the weight back on and then it would fluctuate. But you're right. It's like, you've got to set better goals than just, I want to look good for a particular event. It's like, how am I going to make this
Right.
part of every moment of my day?
Right. Like it's almost like you just have to make it part of your day in and day out. It's just your life. It's how you live.
Yeah.
Cause I think a lot of people they need like motivation or they need something that an end, they need like an end to it, but there really is no end. This is the way you need to live to maintain that kind of physique and body.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this now exactly? Just so I get a timeline.
This is, I think my 4th year now competing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. And talk to me about the timeline about being introduced to strength and bodybuilding itself. in terms of how that entered the picture, your reaction from your community, your family and friends, what were they seeing different? I'd like to talk about that a bit, if you don't mind.
So I would say most family and friends, at least back in New Jersey, didn't really understand why I was so into it. Most people don't get it when they're not in it. I don't. My husband actually talked me into doing bodybuilding, but at the end of the day, he did not like it at the end because it's very hard on a relationship because
Right.
there's a lot of things, at least when I'm in prep, that I can't do. So, and you have to have a partner who's supportive and is understanding, and that can be hard.
Was he into bodybuilding himself? Or
No,
just
he was an athlete, but he didn't know anything about bodybuilding or wasn't, never did anything like that. So, no. And my family, even to this day, they're supportive, but they don't love it. I think a lot of, they all kind of think I'm crazy.
I don't think you're crazy at all.
Yeah.
But what's the common kickback from family? This is an interesting one. I haven't heard this before. Normally
it's
I
funny.
stick with
They think it's unhealthy, which it can be, but eating junk food all the time and not exercising is unhealthy too. So it's kind of like pick your poison,
Yeah.
So that's kind of how they worry about me with it. They think that I put a lot of stress on my body. They want me to stop soon, which I probably am going to stop soon, but we're not done yet. So
what's the atmosphere like with your family and friends during competition season? They're supportive when you're on show?
They are, but for the most part, I'm kind of on my own with that. They don't really get too involved with it. It's kind of my thing because they don't really understand it and they're not really into it. I don't have a huge support system family-wise with it because they just don't get it. So I kind of lean more on my gym friends, which I've made a group of friends here who are great. And I also have a couple girlfriend competitors that live here in Florida as well. And we have like a little group text. We're always sending our check-in pictures and checking on each other. And it's nice to have that, especially when we're all starting to get into competition season. So I have a little support group, which helps a lot too.
Yeah, great. I'd like to actually understand a bit more about the support groups because it's like you seem to be in a situation where your best network are your professionals. It's the professional network.
Yeah.
Can you still talk day to day and break the ice and just balance out so there's more depth in terms of what else is going on in life? Or when you get to comp mode, do you just zone in and focus only on that to keep
No, I mean, I used to. I think when I first started, you kind of get obsessed with the whole thing and you want to learn as much as possible. Like I would sit there while I was working at my desk and listen to podcast after podcast. I don't do that anymore. Like I
definitely this one, right?
Yes. But now I don't. I kind of want to live my life too. I need a balance because it's just too much. So I don't really listen to stuff. I kind of tune all that out. Even in prep, this is probably the most I've been out of touch with all that. And I'm just kind of focusing on, me and what I need to do for show and just living my life, not focusing on what everyone else is doing and trying to learn everything possible. I'm just kind of coasting right now. I don't know. I'm not into it as much as I was as far as making it everything. Because you have to live life too. You can't make everything about, because I don't want my life to be, I'm Keri the competitor. There's a lot more to me than that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I kind of just have backed off a little bit, not be so obsessive.
I agree with that. I remember probably 15 odd years ago when I had my heart surgery and all those issues with my heart. And then I was sort of recovering at home and with my parents. And, I was feeling very depressed, because I couldn't go back to work straight away. And I was in marketing. That's my main profession. And I just my mum was like, why aren't you getting up and doing anything, blah, blah. It's like, I just can't go back to work at the moment. I'm a bit over it. She says, but you're not a marketer in terms of that's not your life. So there's more to you than just your day job that you can't go to. Go find out what it is. And I did. I went and found out some other things and tried other things like teaching and photography and even podcasting eventually. But it was like, you're right. It's like, you just got to find that way to disconnect and go,
Yeah,
when
you
I
have
when
to
I
balance because
yeah
it's a big come down when you make your whole life, because I've been there, about competing. Because once the show's over, you're like, well, now what? You put all this work and time into this one day for 5 minutes on the stage, and then it's back to life, like normal life again. And a
yeah.
lot of people don't know how to handle it. And I went through a little bit of a time where I was depressed, like I didn't know what to do, you know? So
Are you ever
now I just try
mentored?
to balance it.
Are you ever sort of mentored on what to do after? Like particularly for your
Um,
first time,
I
particularly
mean,
for
you
your first
stay
time.
with your I always say that you really should try to, at least when you first start, because you don't really know how the whole process works, you need to stay with a coach so they can reverse you out health
Yeah,
wise,
yeah,
because you need to slowly add food back. Your body's very vulnerable at that state after a show because you're so depleted and your body fat is so low. But the mental part, no, I mean, no, nobody really warned me the first show. I struggled really bad. So I kind of learned just from experience, and each year I got better at handling it.
yeah, yeah. I'm reminded of this. Just sort of took me back to a memory. I don't know if you might know. I don't think he competes anymore. He'd be super old now. But Jay Cutler.
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to follow him. He was what got me into the exercise. It was just cool to see the way he did things. And I think he was always training with his wife, who I think is like a quarter of the size of him. But she'd spot
Yes, I
him.
think so.
Yeah, but she'd spot him. She'd spot him in weightlifting. Like, I think you're
Uh,
just there for show. But anyway, sure.
yeah,
Um,
right. Well, I don't know if she'd actually be able to help him if he
no,
dropped
I
it.
think it was just for the video. I think back in 2007 when I was a little lad. But I remember the cheat meal straight after.
Oh, yeah.
And it was always like stacks of pancakes and everything. And I don't think he even finished his meals. He'd say like, I just have a few bites of this because my body's not able to actually take all this on. So he had like
No,
and so I'd
you
imagine it's the
have to
same
be
for you.
careful. Like, because
Yeah,
I've had issues in the past, again, with the food. I've had binging issues after shows because I would go overboard. And once I would get going, it would be hard for me to reel it back in. So I'd have a couple days where I'd binge on food, and it really
mm,
screws you up, like your stomach and everything. I had gone through a whole process of having gut issues because of it. I had to
yeah,
go through a protocol and everything to fix it. So, like, I learned my lesson the hard way.
yeah.
But
I
you
think
really have to be smart after show on how
you
you
do.
manage all of it.
Because you can make excuses like, oh no, I'll just do 2 days. I'll have one more day of bad meal. I'll have one more day of a bad meal, and
No,
before you know,
and
it, it's
the
like,
weight, you
yeah,
gain weight so rapidly, it's
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
So you have to be careful.
So can Keri take us down memory lane? I'd like to just go back to your very, very first comp, which is 4 odd years ago, and just take me through your mindset when you were going into the unknown. Like you don't know what to expect, and there's, like you said, you're on stage for 5 minutes, and the moments after. I'd like to just go through memory lane with you if you don't mind.
Well, my first show was actually OCB. It's a natural league. I'm now obviously an NPC, but I really thought there was going to be a lot more to it. I didn't think it was going to be so quick. Because you literally go up on stage for like 5 seconds to do your
Yeah.
routine, and then you do comparisons, and that's it. So when I was done, it just felt like, wow, I spent all this time and put all this work, and that was just like 5 minutes of my life. So
Yeah.
it definitely was a little bit of a shock.
You've got a mix of people who are doing it for the first time like you, and you've got a mix of people who are doing it for second, third, fourth season people. What are those conversations like that really excited you, if they did, with these people in the change room? Did you sort of go, yeah, this is the place I want to be?
Um, I don't know if that's the way it went. It just was kind of cool to be able to bond with people though who went through everything I went through to get to that point. Just because, like I said, when I first started competing, I was super isolated and I had really no one that
Yeah.
understood or did what I was doing. So to finally be surrounded by women who were in the same boat as me and put in all the hard work like I did, it was really nice to be able to be backstage and bond with them, because I hadn't had the opportunity to do that with anybody until I finally got to a show.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that
I
part is
just
probably
think,
the best.
yeah, because I imagine like we only see the photos. We just see those wonderful photos and
Right.
the great lighting and everything. and you're putting on a smile, but I would say you're also putting on a brave face.
Oh, yes. The nerves are
Yes.
definitely there for sure.
Yeah. So I'd imagine there's just that moment of relief. You're like with other people going, okay, we're all in this together at this stage.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
It's a very common question that I ask people, but I still think everyone's answer is different. So what has bodybuilding taught you about discipline?
Ah, that you can be disciplined, but you don't that doesn't mean you're perfect. I mean, I
Mm,
think for me personally, I'm a super disciplined person, but I've definitely fallen down and gotten back up more times than I can count. It's been a learning process for me. And I think, if anything, the discipline has taught me how strong I am and that I can remain disciplined even with setbacks. So I think that's pretty much what I've learned, that there's no perfection in being disciplined. It's really just to just keep going right back at it and keep grinding whether you fail or not. Just start over the next day. Like, that's kind of my attitude. Like, you mess up today, well, tomorrow you're back at it again. And that
yeah.
to me is discipline, because if you can do that, you're a pretty disciplined person if you don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you said, you mentioned setbacks and how comebacks can be over and over again. And I think it's because it's the tagline of my show. Every setback is a blueprint for your comeback. I think
Yes.
you've encapsulated it quite well there. So thanks for plugging the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Yes. No
Now we
problem.
often. Yeah, no, please. I think I might have to get you on my marketing team if that's all right. If you've got a moment, if you're looking for a job.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. We'll have to do a few episodes, see how we go. That'd be great. But on physical transformation, that's something that, is often talked about in these shows. There is the mental transformation that, I do believe is bigger, but because it's mental, it's unseen in photos. It's more to do with your day to day. That's how it sort of comes about.
How has it changed?
Or evolved or
Yeah.
improved. Yeah. Yeah.
I would say it's evolved just because I've kind of learned how I am and how I do with things, as far as like what works for me and what doesn't. Um, I think if I try to be too perfect, that's usually when I fail. Like, I've learned to really give myself grace, I guess you could say,
Mm,
and accept when things don't go perfectly and move on. And I think that's made me better at this in the long run, because I don't like get so wrapped up in being perfect, because nobody is. And I think that just makes me a better competitor for it.
yeah, absolutely. It takes a long
Yeah.
time for some people to embrace that, though.
Yeah.
Because ego can come into play and you have a desire to be perfect. And
Yes.
then the question is, what is perfect? Is it to your standard, to someone else's standard? And then it
Right.
becomes very blurred.
Right.
And
I do
yes,
feel like people who do this are perfectionists and are very hard on themselves. And that's why the whole thing about being perfect is really, it's hard to, manage. But
so when it comes to the comparison, self-confidence, the body image,
mhm.
how did you tackle that early on to ensure that you can just go into these competitions and just focus on
Well,
Keri?
in the beginning, I used to really compare myself to other competitors, especially
Yeah.
when I got close to show. I'd sit there and scroll through social media and look at their check-in photos, and I'd literally put my picture side by side to them, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, the end of the day, you really can't be, because that's going to get in your head and it's not going to help you. You're
Yeah.
better off just like shutting all that out and just focusing on how you look and how you need to be better and what you need to do. You know, I think that was my biggest problem, was just worrying about what everyone else was doing instead
Yeah.
of just listening to what my coach told me to do and focusing on what I needed to do instead of everyone else. So
You're running
that
your
I
own
learned.
race. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Now I don't even pay attention, because it's not about them, it's about me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we all do
Uh,
it though. It's hard not to, because you're literally going on stage to be judged in a bikini against other women. And so it's
yeah,
hard not to like worry about it, but
yeah, I can appreciate
can't.
that. I can appreciate, but I've never seen
Yeah.
someone do a video where they're speaking with the full movement and they've got a set of rock hard abs that don't seem to move whatsoever. So you clearly got that down pat. What other categories have you competed in, if any? Or have you always
Just
been in
bikini.
bikini? Yeah.
I've always been in bikini.
Why that decision? Why that decision? I think you mentioned it early on, but I just want to flesh it out a bit more.
I don't think, because if I were to do anything further, I know that there would probably, especially in NPC, and if you want to become a pro, you probably have to run a lot of PEDs, let's be honest. Because once you go above that, I mean, it's physique, I think, wellness. What's the other one? You have to get a lot more muscle mass to compete and be competitive at that level. And I'm just not willing to do that.
Yeah.
So
you've also got to know your own limits. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I put my body through a lot as it is, and I don't really want to push anymore at this point. I mean, I respect them. I think women who do that are amazing. I don't think I could push to that level. That's all.
Yeah, look, to each their own. And again, you're still you're running your own race. That's what's important.
Right.
And I think you've mentioned it yourself. It's, how would you say, like, for example, you want to become the best version of yourself. Keri wants to be the best version of Keri, whether it's Keri 2.0 or 3.0. But how would you sum it up in a sentence in terms of what is the best version of Keri? Just like as an MO.
The best version of me. I just want to be happy in my own skin, I guess you could say. I just want to be happy with how I look physically and where I'm at mentally.
Has that definition changed over time? Was it different a few years ago?
Yeah. I mean, my life has, in the past few months, has completely changed, but I think I'm finally going in the right direction, and I'm finally really just focusing on what makes me happy, and I'm still trying to figure out what makes me happy in life and what I want. But I think I'm finally getting there. Only took me 40-something years, but
you're your biggest project and you've got a lot of work to do on it.
But I think I'm my best self now than I've been in my whole life. So
yeah, that's great. And I think what you've learned from what I've taken this conversation is, even though you're able to say that with confidence, it doesn't mean you don't continue to work on yourself to say that again the year after and the year after the year after.
Right.
So you can eventually, you can always say I'm the best version of what I am now.
Yes.
What do you think people, just in terms of your own observations, what do you think people will underestimate and push themselves back on when it comes to personal growth? You've mentioned like being accountable and obviously not competing with others. What are some mistakes they can come across in those early stages when they're trying to set themselves up?
I think as you get older, you really stop caring about what other people think or doing things because other people tell you that's what you should be doing. I think if I could go back and talk to myself 20 years ago, I would tell her to just do what makes me happy and focus on me and not focus on everyone else around me. I think we all get very wrapped up in, making impressions on people and worrying about what people think of us. But at the end of the day, you really just need to be happy with yourself and not really care what everyone thinks. I think that's why I'm so happy right now, is because I really don't care if you like me or not. I'm at the point in my life where I'm going to do what makes me happy. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But I'm still going to do it. I'm going to be me, and I'm going to be the person I want to be and what makes me happy. And whether you like it or not, that's really your problem, not mine. So
yeah. And having already achieved so much, you have the know-how and the maturity to say, but I'm going to continue evolving. So even this version of me that you might not like, brace yourself, because there's another version coming anyway.
Right. So, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to take a little bit of a segue here and just talk about Keri in the day-to-day. What else do you do sort of outside that focus?
Well, life right now is a little boring because the show is closed, so I can't do that much at the moment. But I mean,
let's go back a few months then. Assume we were like in February or something. And I ask you that question, what would you be telling me?
Right. Now that I moved down here, I've been trying to go to the beach on the weekends. It's like 10 minutes away because I really do enjoy going to the beach. I have 2 big giant dogs, 2 Alaskan Malamutes. I like to spend time with them, hang out in the backyard with them, stuff like that. I'm pretty low key. Of course, I hang out with some of the people I met at the gym. We go out on the boat with them. One of them has a boat, which is nice. Um, I haven't really been able to go out to dinner too much, but I definitely want to start venturing out a bit here once my show's over. Um, I like to go out for coffee, just basic stuff. I'm pretty basic.
Got a
I
got a
do want to
favorite got a
travel. I
favorite
do want to
beverage?
start. No, I
No,
don't think so. No,
no.
I like coffee a lot.
I'm enjoying my almond cappuccino over here. It's my
Oh,
my,
that
my old
sounds good.
faithful. Yeah. You want to travel? What kind of travel? Have you left
Just
the States
anywhere.
much?
I
Yeah.
feel like I haven't been able to do much of that at all the past couple years, so I haven't really
Yeah.
figured out where yet, but I do want to start going places. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Well,
definitely on my agenda.
if you come down to Australia, the Gold Coast does some great shows,
I
FMG
would love
shows,
to
and
go there.
yeah,
I hear it's
yeah,
beautiful.
we do a lot down here. I've had the blessing to meet some competitors down here, so it's great.
Awesome.
But you're more than welcome to, and you can bring the dogs if they're allowed to cross borders.
Oh, that would be rough. I mean, I'd love to, but I don't think they'd make it.
Reflecting on yourself now in your 40s, and I love that you're proud to embrace that. That's wonderful. These are your best years. I can now see why. I can appreciate why, and it's wonderful. What do you think society can get wrong when it comes to women who enter this sort of chapter of their lives? Because you mentioned before, people that go through hormonal changes and lifestyle changes. From a societal point of view, what's the biggest misconception that you'd like to squash?
Just that I feel like at least women give up after 40. They just think this is what it
Do you
is
think so?
now.
Yeah.
I passed my prime because I do feel like
Why have they decided this is it?
I think because of society makes it that way. That once you hit a certain age, that it's all downhill from there. The saying. Um, and I do think society makes a lot of excuses for people
Mm.
as they get older as to why they don't look as good as they did when they were younger. But it's really more about just taking care of yourself. But I think it's easier to make excuses than to actually try to fix it because that takes work. So it's a lot easier for people to just blame it on age or blame it
Mm.
on having kids or whatever.
And there's
When
that
the end,
expectation where, like, and again, I'm just making an assumption here, correct me if I'm
uh,
wrong, but society's like, you've done your service to society, you've brought kids in, you've raised a family, there's
yeah,
nothing
I
else
mean,
required of you.
I mean, I don't have children, so I can't completely speak for women who do,
Sure.
but there's plenty of women I see who have children who look amazing. So it's not like it can't be done. But
Mm.
I do think, and I think a lot of when women have children, they throw their lives into their children's lives and they don't take care of themselves anymore. I mean, their lives become about the child, not about them. So they kind of neglect themselves. And I think it's really important that they have to take a step back and still, take care of themselves as well and worry about themselves. A lot of women don't.
Is that still on your
Oh,
to-do
that's
list or
fine.
your checklist? You open to it?
I got married a little bit older and my husband already had children. So
Okay.
we kind of like went back and forth. At first, I thought I wanted to have children. And then I kind of changed my mind because like I said, I was older. And then he wanted to have them and I didn't. But I think I really didn't want to have children at like 40 and above. Once I hit 40, I just thought, you know what? No, because I didn't want to be an older parent.
Yeah.
So I felt like if it didn't happen, it's just not meant to be. And I'm okay with that. So
Yeah, I can appreciate though. It's like
yeah,
you also have to know where you want to draw the line. So you're always open to it though. So
yeah.
yeah, okay. Well, I pray that whatever you wish for comes true. So
Oh, thank you.
I really do.
Thanks.
um, let's talk about. We've got a comp coming up. Do you want to give me a timeline on that competition and what to expect
Sure.
and how big? Yeah.
So I'm competing at Universe. This will be my third time. Yes, this is my third time competing at Universe. It's in Teaneck in New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
It's a national show. It's July 3rd, so we're about 3 weeks out now.
Mm.
In order for me to get my pro card, I need to win the 40 class. I think I'm 40H. It goes by height, so it's 5'7" and above is the one I'm in. And that's
So
pretty much it.
you've got to beat that round first before you actually get into the big top.
Well, I have to win that class. If I win that class, I'll win my pro card.
Yeah.
And I have to decide. I could also do the 35 plus, but I'm not sure if I want to because I'm older. I'm 46, so it's kind of like getting there.
Yeah.
But then if I lose, I do plan to probably do the next national show, which is Masters Nationals in Pittsburgh. And that's July 18th weekend, I think. And they have a 45 plus and a 40. So I'll probably do both.
Oh,
and
wow.
then we'll just hope and pray we'll get it at that one if we don't get it at this one.
With that one in Pittsburgh, is it done on the same day, or is it done days apart? Like, how do you stay in prep mentally while going from one to the other so quickly?
Bikini, well, they have all the different classes within a 3-day period, I believe.
Okay.
But yes, you have prejudging and then you have finals. Usually prejudging starts at 9, but by the time I get on stage with my age and height and all that, it's more like 12, 1 o'clock. And then you get like a 3-hour break or so, and then finals are at night. Sometimes it could take forever and you're there pretty late.
Yeah.
So it's like an all-day affair. It's exhausting.
And do you have to stay in form? Like, you have to stay in your bikini the whole day?
Oh,
and
yeah. We all
it's
sit
like,
backstage on like little towels and blankets.
I was going to say, do you just
pillows.
take the high heels off so you don't like destroy
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, usually, I mean, I stay at the host hotel, so at least between prejudging and finals, you can go back up to your room if you have one.
Yep.
And relax for a couple hours, which is nice. But
Nice.
yeah, you pretty much, you got to stay in your tan and hair and makeup. I mean, it's an ordeal to get it done. You got to keep it nice.
No wonder some people just jump to a cheat meal the next day. They're like, oh, just give me a break.
Yeah, it's like all you want. You just want to take a shower, get that tan off, and eat some good food.
Beautiful. So that's in July. So we'll be rooting for you for
Yeah,
sure.
it's coming up.
Yeah, great. What excites you beyond that in terms of the year ahead? Because you're now used to this whole, I just feel like generally, like you're used to the whole do the show, then obviously back into normalcy for a while. What excites you beyond that when these are done?
Well, this time around, I'm just excited to just start living my life. Like, I haven't really been able to enjoy Florida or being single.
Yeah.
Because I've been so wrapped up in this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just excited to see what's down here, start dating again, that kind of stuff. I haven't been able to really do much of that. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right. I'd imagine you'd have no problems, but I'll leave that to you and Miami and
I don't know.
Florida.
Dating's rough.
It's changed, hasn't it, the dynamic?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The expectation is a lot different now that it's all gone online. It's quite fascinating.
It's just a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually thinking I might turn this podcast into a dating kind of thing because
It's not a bad idea.
Well, I've got a lot of single mums and single women and single this and single coming on board going, I'm looking back to get into life. I'm like, well, have you met so-and-so? So you never know. I can make a bit of money off that. You never know. So
yeah, you could probably.
Let's do a bit of a reflection. So looking back on everything, actually, first and foremost, do you want to take a moment to plug what you do and your work and how people can get in touch with you? I'd love to sort of let people connect with you.
I mean, I don't have much to plug at the moment coaching after I compete for now. I don't.
Definitely. And I do encourage everyone to go on there because everything she said in terms of being nervous and everything is an absolute lie. But that's just me. No, I'm just joking. I will definitely put you on there and share it. And I know I'm asking too much to sum up 40 years, so don't think I don't know what I'm doing there, but yeah.
I think I'm most proud of being resilient, and I think that's just not just competing, that's just life. I mean, we all go through things in life. I think the older you get, the more crap you go through and you learn from, and I think I've learned that I can get through a lot of stuff and get right back up, and I've been the same way with competing. I think it's kind of just shows that I have the ability to be strong and independent. I'm really proud of being an independent person. I've always been able to take care of myself, and that's something, I'm pretty proud to say.
I think that's a victory people wouldn't see on stage. That's really just something that they wouldn't see on the outside. Your resilience and your independence. Yeah.
Yes, that's probably the two most things I'm proud of.
Yeah. What's this journey of life of yours? What has it given you?
Uh-huh.
that you never would have expected when you started? Beyond resilience and independence, what has it given you that you didn't think about when you first started?
Um, I mean, I feel like when we're younger, we think we're all gonna have like the white picket fence and married with kids and all that. And, my life didn't turn out that way, but at the end of the day, I don't necessarily think that's what I truly wanted anyway. I think society kind of paints that picture of that's what we're supposed to do,
Mm.
and you kind of fall into that. And I think that's the
Well, that's
reason
just
why I
based on
think,
everyone growing up and being raised exactly
yeah,
the
and
same
I've
way.
made mistakes in life just for the fact that I thought that that's what I should be doing, not necessarily it was because I want. I think I'm finally in a place now I'm doing what I want, not
Mm.
what I think I should be doing.
Mm.
So I think
Absolutely.
that's, yeah.
Yeah. Do you do you feel that you've experienced? Actually, I'll go back one question. The signature question for this podcast is, what does comeback mean to you?
Well, definitely after last season, this has to be a comeback for me because that was a really tough season of losses because I just was so freaking close. So comeback to me would be to get on that stage and win that pro card and, prove that, yes, I didn't win, but I'm going to do it this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll be rooting for you, but I actually would have to personally say you've already
No.
experienced the comeback. I think you are a comeback yourself, and I think there's
Oh,
so
thanks.
much to be proud of there.
Yeah.
I was interested to learn more about the move to Florida. It's obviously, you
Uh-huh.
mentioned it was obviously the back of a divorce and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to take us through the chapter of married life and how long that went for? Whatever you want to disclose, you're more than welcome to.
No,
Um,
that's fine. We were together 12 years. We were married 6 years. I think I evolved
does that make it
into,
harder, by the way, when you together much longer than you anticipate before you're married? I'm just curious to know.
I felt like we were married from the beginning. We got moved very fast. We moved in together very fast. It took a while to actually get the engagement and the wedding going, but
Mm.
most of the 12 years we were pretty much like a married couple.
Mm.
But I would say we just kind of fell apart, apart because I changed pretty much. I think I just realized it wasn't what I wanted. I changed as a person and my confidence changed. I was a different person when I met him. So I think I evolved as a person and it just didn't fit anymore once I changed who I was.
Yeah.
So we tried, but it just didn't work. So,
Well, you mentioned one of the factors, amongst others, I'd assume, was obviously you going into that bodybuilding space and going through that transformation, and it wasn't being received the way you'd hope it would have.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I imagine
like
there
I
were other
said,
things. I would imagine there are other things. It's not
of
just that.
course.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was just him. I think it's just everyone in general. Most people don't really understand bodybuilding unless they're in it. And it's very extreme. So people don't get it. They think it's strange. They think it's too much, So I think it also kind of rolled into my marriage, that kind of thought process, at least with him. It just became too much. And I don't blame him either. It is a lot on a marriage or on a relationship. You have to have a person who truly is able to support and accept all that because, it changes your whole day in and day out when you're with somebody who's a competitor. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the way you described your life as a competitor in this last hour that we've spoken, I can absolutely appreciate that. If you're going to be committed to someone full time in terms of a
right.
relationship, that person needs to be aware that. That's not to say they always have to compete or anything. They just have to be conscious of the time you put in, where your mind's at
Yeah.
certain parts of the
Like,
year.
I feel like now, if I were to get in a relationship again, I certainly need to be with somebody who has the same mindset when it comes to fitness and diet and stuff like that, because it's a lot. And if they're not on the same page at all, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Bumble and Tinder should come up with an FMG category and just have specific
Yes.
people. So
That's not a
Kerry's
bad
back on the
idea.
market. Yeah, Kerry's back on the market in August, by the way, guys, from what I've heard. So
Yeah.
I'm sure to get a name out there. Genuine advice for anyone that feels sort of they want to make a change in life, could be a health thing, they feel stuck, they're overwhelmed, or they believe the best years are behind them. What would you say to them?
I would say if you're gonna make the change, you need to be patient and you
Yep.
need to take one day at a time. And small wins are the best way to go about doing it. Because if you have high expectations and expect things to go fast, you're only gonna fail and you're only gonna quit. So I would just say baby steps.
Baby steps, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's easier said than done because people look at baby steps and
Well,
they
everybody
don't see.
wants instant gratification,
Yes,
but
yes, and social media hasn't helped, has it?
it's not
But
realistic.
hey, I tell you what, if I was just believing what social media said, and I'm only, I haven't even got 1,000 followers on this page, I'd have given up. But I don't believe that. I believe this podcast is about telling real stories and like yours, and honest stories. So I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming on at such a late hour and
Yes,
joining
thank
me.
you so much for having me. This was great.
Thank you. I think one of my takeaways I just noted down here was, that from the conversation that we've had is that, I think I'd hope you'd agree, that growth doesn't have an age limit. It doesn't. You should always keep growing. Your story is proof that it's never too late to challenge yourself and to reinvent yourself and to continuously become the best version of who you can be. And I think that Keri encapsulates that so well. So I wish you all the best in your competition and the life beyond and settling into Florida. And hopefully we can catch up soon again. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So for those out there, remember your setback does not define you, as Keri has proudly stated, but your comeback does. And so stay tuned. We'll see how she's going, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Comeback Blueprint podcast. Cheers.
Great, thank you.
You've been listening to the Comeback Blueprint podcast with Michael Sawan. Real stories, real struggles, real comebacks. Follow these comeback stories on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and anywhere else you can find us on social media. And don't miss what's coming next.